Now we're going to talk about graphing that information that we just learned about in our equation. Why is that important? How does it help us? How does it connect? That's what we're going to do now. To graph a linear function, you need to know the slope and at least one point on the line, because that point that they give us, that's going to be our starting spot. If we just have slope, we don't know where to start or stop, or we just know how we have to move. The point of the line is often your y-intercept. Not always, but often. We're going to see some examples today where it's not. And it'll tell you where to start. Again, like I said, the slope is like your Google Maps. It tells you where to go, what direction you're moving. So we're going to talk about it from an equation. Y'all know how to put points on a table, but we're not going to talk about this. If you want to do it on your own, you are more than welcome to. But we're going to talk about it, how to do it from an equation like you guys needed to do on your pre-assessment, and then how to do it given a point and slope. So step one, when you have your equation, the first thing you do is plot your y-intercept. Again, that y-intercept is our starting point. In this equation, what part of that is our y-intercept? Yeah, it's the B on the caboose. It's the B on the end. Our y-intercept is -3, which would be the coordinate 0, -3. So I'm just going to come down here, plot my first point. That's my -3. Step 2, we need to find our slope. The numerator of our slope tells us how far to go, up or down. Positive slope means we move what direction? Up. Negative slope means we move down. So what's our slope in this equation? Our slope is 1/2. So that means we're going to rise 1. We're going to go up 1. And we're going to run 2. So from our point, positive slopes, we're going to rise. We're going to go up 1 spot. Step 3, the denominator tells you how far to move to the right. We read left to right like our graphs, like we do in English and Spanish. We move 1, 2 spots to the right. My slope was we rose 1, we ran 2, and that's our next point. The beautiful thing about slope is you can know if you're graphing it right or not because you can keep doing the slope over and over and over again. It's going to all land on the same line. So I can still rise 1, run 2. That's still in line. I can rise 1, run 2. That's still on line. I can also do the opposite. The opposite of rise is down. The opposite of right is left. I can fall 1, go back 2, and that point is still on the line. Fall 1, go left 2. That point is still on the same straight line. Find your y-intercept, start there, and then move based on what your slope tells you. Let's try one more example together. Let's try this one. One says y equals -2x plus 5. Let's zoom in. So what are we starting with? What's our y-intercept? +5. So that's our first spot. Starting from our origin, it's positive. It's going to be above 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our starting point. Our slope is negative, so what direction is our line going to go from this point? It's negative. It's going to go down. So again, slope on your graph is your rise over your run. What is our rise number going to be here? How far are we going to go up or down? Our rise is going to be a -2 because our slope is a -2. We're going to go down 2 spots. And then how far are we going to run? How far are we going to move to the right? 2 is not a fraction. -2 is not a fraction. What could I do to make it a fraction? Put it over 1. Any number you need to turn into a fraction, put it over 1. So our slope here is -2 over 1. So we're going to go down 1, 2. And then we're going to move to the right 1 spot. If we don't move to the right, we just have a vertical line. That's an undefined slope. So that would be a run of 0. So that's not accurate. We need to have a denominator for our slope. Otherwise, it's undefined. So we can go down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. And we can see that those points, doesn't matter how far we go, we're just going to keep being in that same straight line for that equation. Start with your y-intercept and then do your slope. Go ahead, pause the video. Try numbers 2 and 3 on your own. Try 2 and 3 on your own. And then when you're ready, come back to the video, keep playing it. We're going to do examples like 8, 9, 10. And then we'll check those in class when we meet again next week. Good luck. Again, just when you're ready. For graphing points from the slope, or from a point and a slope, play the video when you're ready for that part. Good luck. All right, I'm clearly not going to do that right now. Like I said, we're going to talk about it in class. How to graph from a point and a slope. So step 1, plot your point. Before, we were getting our y-intercept from the equation. Now, they're just going to give us a point. It's not necessarily the y-equation, or the y-intercept. But we have to have a point. We can't just have slope. We have to start from a specific point. So our point here is -2, 4. I'm going to plot that on my graph. -2 means I'm going left. -4 means I'm going down. So I'm going to plot my point -2, -4. There's my first dot. And then we're going to use the slope to plot some more points. My slope here is 3/4. How does slope go on a graph again? What are those R words? What over what? Rise over run. Rise over run. Because we're rising 3 and running 4, it's positive. What direction should our line go? Yeah, it's going to go up. It's going to go up and to the right. So from our slope, we're going to rise 1, 2, 3 points, and then we're going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we have our next point. And again, the slope is the same, doesn't matter where on the graph you are, we can keep going with the slope. So let's go one more time. We're going to rise 3, run 4, and that's about where our next point would be. And we get to play connect the dots, yay. We get to play connect the dots, yay. So again, you always have to start with a point and then apply your slope. Let's try another example on the back together. Let's take a look at 8. Here, our slope is -3, 2, and our point is -4, 1. Go ahead, pause the video real quick, put that point on the coordinate plane for us. Plot -4, +1. Your dot should go right here. And then again, how do I do slope on a graph? Our rise over our run. Our rise here, they tell us, is going to be -3, and our run is 2 because that's just the slope. The slope tells us how we change between points. So from this point, how should we move? Why down 3? Because it's negative. -3 means we down 3, and then we run 2 to the right. And we can keep that pattern going. We can go down 3 and 2 to the right. And we see that these points are going to stay on the same straight line. Start with a point, then do your slope. Now go ahead and try 9 and 10 on your own. Oh, there's another one up there actually too. There's also number 7. Go ahead, try 7, 9, and 10 on your own. And like I said, if you we'll check back on the answers to those problems when we meet next week. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. If you don't finish, that's totally fine, totally fine. Just make sure you give your papers back to Miss Salim and Miss Mahmood so they can put them in my box so that we have them for next week. Good luck on that practice, guys.